Okay, good.
Hello, everyone.
What's going on, everybody? So, Laz is currently streaming. I'm PowerMinds. And this is the one, the only New England Crypto. If you're looking for bulk hardware, he's the guy to go to.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No
No
problem. No, we're thankful you actually reached out. Nice.
Yeah.
We're actually pretty excited. So if you
Been
don't know,
wanting to for a while. Just been super busy.
yeah.
No worries.
And if you're wondering who this New England Crypto is, this is where the KS0 came from. So.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, yes.
So if you have any hardware questions, now would be definitely the time to ask them.
Yeah. I also wanted to thank Red Panda Mining for the raid. Welcome in, everyone.
Thank you, Red Panda. Thanks, Panda. Legendary person.
Yes. Yes.
So let's get into it. Want to introduce yourself a little bit, New England?
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to set my computer up.
Oh no, you're good.
No worries.
More volume. More volume on who they're smoking in.
Huh?
Probably New England.
No.
Is my thought. So you'll have to go into edit mic settings and automatically adjust. You'll have to turn that off. So you can turn them up a bit. Do you want to just talk there for a second there?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
That's better.
It's a little better.
All right, all right. I can tweak it on my end too. I just don't
There
want to start.
I have it at about 160. I think that should be good.
I don't want all the hardware in the background to start taking over.
I don't think it will because the background noise isn't that bad. Because it's also because you're able to have it like echo, turn off.
Awesome. Yep.
So.
Yeah, I was trying to test it on my own before I came in.
I'm turning 19 in April, Richard.
Yes.
Surprisingly. What's up, Seattle Mining, fellow Nova Scotian?
Yeah.
So.
Did you guys get to watch Panda's stream?
Yeah, we watched
most of it actually.
Yeah.
I was in for a few minutes getting yelled at for driving.
Yeah. You have a kid on the way. Don't need to be a bad example.
Yeah. Don't watch and drive.
I wouldn't have in front of them, but you're right.
Right. Playing with my new KS0, PB Farmer OC, and want to. Someone in the chat's asking about PB Farmer overclocks. Do you have any experience with that, New England?
I do not. I'm trying to read up on that right now.
Cool. Yeah, because the Travelers just asking anyone else using PB Farmer on their KS0 Pro and KS0s. So.
I have not heard of that one yet.
Yeah, me neither. I've heard about it like here and there around, but not directly.
I'm looking.
We haven't actually overclocked. We haven't actually overclocked our KS0 LAZZ because we just really haven't had to. There's just really, I mean, you're making like $1 a day with it just being standard, and you're only gonna get like 60 gigahash more. So it's like by the time you buy the power supply and all the other stuff, I mean, you're into it for really more than it's worth.
Yeah, if you have the stuff laying around, go ahead.
Yeah, if you are already using a proper PSU, then you're good to go. But
yeah, and I think actually the veteran miner barrel jack cables are going to help out with that.
Yeah, I don't know much about those, but they look sexy.
Yeah, it actually works with 6-pin, so actually kind of help people that may be running 240, direct,
Yeah, I got a bunch of server power supplies behind me. That's why I wasn't sure.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I have 2 on my desk running. There's one in the network switch behind me. So I have like 3 server power supplies, and then I have my computer that's right there.
I tend to max mine out pretty solid too, so they whine pretty loud.
Yeah. Well, the 750s aren't as bad as the 9, like the 1200s on 120.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
But yeah, we've gotten actually quite a stack of them. Like I'm right now. Well, I have 5 HS boxes that are running. One has I think it's a dead control board. Personally, because
Oh,
it's doing a double solid red light,
okay.
a double red light on the back. But I
Not
have
showing up on pool at all.
no, it's not
Okay.
showing up in the gold shelf finder. But I'd actually like to update the control boards and all of them because the newer control boards actually have the Wi-Fi in them.
Oh, okay.
So instead of having to run Ethernet cables and having a mess for something like this, you'd only have to run your power cables.
Yep.
Yep.
I
Makes life
personally,
a little.
I personally don't mind on Wi-Fi at all, but I see why that's nice and convenient.
Do you know what's funny is I've had an HS box, and let alone the two of them were newer, but then we
Yep.
bought a third one that was an older version, and it actually was more stable to be mining on the Wi-Fi than it was the Ethernet,
Wow.
surprisingly, because it just I think how it is
Yeah,
running
I bet it also has something to do with your ISP and your
probably.
router and such as well. But
Yeah, because it's going
I'm,
through a router here. It's because it's going through a switch here, through networking cable down the wall, and then it goes to another switch that goes into the router. So
yeah, yeah. In 2024, I'm sure it's pretty minimal, but I try not
but
to use Wi-Fi for much of
yeah,
anything. I don't use Bluetooth. I
no,
don't. I try not to. I don't like wireless stuff much at all.
no. It's nice for stuff like, for example, this. Like if you're putting this in your living room, you not like I said because I actually reached out to James from Gold Shop about talking to him about the light miners, and I actually said on the light miners, if you're able to implement the wireless technology in them, it will make it more a viable option as a space heater to somebody because you just set it
Yeah.
up with Wi-Fi.
Yep.
There it is. You plug it into the wall. It acts like a space heater.
Yeah.
But when you have to run an Ethernet cable to it, it limits your who's actually going to buy it. It's not going to be as useful because you're still technically running 2 cables instead of just the regular one in the wall.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a laptop mining in my bathroom for heat, and that's on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that thing was dirty.
Dude, I forgot about that thing for months. It just ran and ran and ran, and all of a sudden I found it and was like, oh my God.
Put it this way, Les. The USB ports were filled solid with dust.
It made for some interesting content.
Yeah.
It did. Travelers. I run many of my iPolos and gold shells on Wi-Fi, no problem. Yeah, same here. Wi-Fi is great for spreading power loads throughout the house. Exactly.
Good to know.
And it's not so much like I would almost rather like, and especially with gold shell, like I always said, gold shell might not have the best hardware, but for a home miner aspect, some people don't have a spare 240 volt, breaker on their panel, but they got a 120 volt 20 amp outlet in their house or 15 amp. So I mean, running an HS light and running an SC light, that's no problem. You just plug it into the wall. But when you have an Ethernet cable, it limits who you're actually gonna be able to because a lot of not so many modern homes have Wi-Fi ran everywhere in the house.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
but if you were able to have a Wi-Fi in them,
correct.
it opens your market.
I use Eero. Do you know what Eero is? The mesh network. So I'm able to have those all throughout my house and at my facility wherever I need. And with them now, the first few years they weren't as good, but now when you hardwire to one of them, even with a switch, it's pretty rock solid.
Yeah. Well, when I was down at the facility for 2 months in the summer, I was running a Ku Wi-Fi network bridge.
Okay.
And it was pretty freaking solid. Like, let alone it was rated for like a kilometer. I was running like 150 feet, but I was going through like a wall of a house and through a window.
Yeah.
Like, is how I had it set up. And I mean, the thing was doing like 30 millisecond ping to a pool, like on a Canadian pool. So like, I mean, I was like, easier, cheaper than running a wire.
Yeah. Are you planning to go back into that building?
I am.
Awesome.
Currently, we have 40 frames on order to make 3 walls, 3 sets of 16 frames apiece.
I knew you were talking about getting a bunch. That's how many you guys have settled on?
Well, it's just the way, because with the shipping, right?
Yep.
We were looking at like just buying like 16, right? But it was going to be like $300 for shipping. But if we got like 24 to start with, it was going to be like $500 shipping. And I mean, the frames are 31 USD a piece. You can't go buy those frames on Amazon for under 150 Canadian right now. So
okay, that makes sense then.
So, and then we wanted to do another wall, which is another 16 frames, and just to add those was like $800 with shipping and everything. I'm like, if we're gonna do it, we might as well just do it and then suck it up now. And then in the bull run, if we have a 3-year bull run where you can't get frames, it's not like we're gonna run out of frames.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think.
And if you do, that's a heck of a problem.
And if we have 40 frames extra, so we'll have 40 frames in total, that would be. It was pretty much the cost of 2 Octominers for 40 open frame, 12 GPU open frames.
Yeah.
Yes, they're open frames, travelers. Just like the ones you see on my shorts and stuff. So just the regular, kind of like a AAA wave style. Essentially is what they are.
Yeah, because we're at the facility, we're at least not density constrained.
Yeah.
No.
Only power panel problems.
Yes.
But the way we kind of looked at it is because what we want to do is eventually we'd like to have 3 what we call the walls, and it'll be 196 smaller NGPUs, so like 30HXs or even P106s. Because a P106, when you break it down, at least from the calculation you get off of hashrate.nl, is essentially equal to a 30HX on a lower power point. So like we're not going to be mining a POW on them. We're talking like Carlson hash and K heavy hash, and because personally I think that's the way we're going towards coins, is not a Kapow based algorithm. We're going to be looking at lower power coin algorithms, because efficiency to most people is, a lot of people don't got $4,000 to fork over a month for power.
Yeah.
Right? But if you're on a K heavy hash type algo, you're instead of 4,000, you're looking at $2,000, which is a little bit more reasonable.
Agreed.
So what we're going to do is we're going to build these walls, and they're only going to be used for spec money. So we don't want like a $200 card in the frames. We're going to buy like $25 a piece P106s, throw them in there, buy 200 of them, and then when we need them for a week to spec mine, for example, Nixelia, that would be a great example. We're able to throw that on, pay a couple $100 in power, and be able to get on it quick, own our own hash rate instead of having to rent it and
compete on the rental markets and stuff.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's pretty good. That's actually a really good price there. Travelers Travels picked up 9 1200 watt PSUs for less than $15 each shipped. That's actually a really good deal.
Nice.
Brandon Coin just had a bunch on his website. On his store.
Well, we're looking at, there's a lot of them in the States, 81 750 watts. And a lot of people are like, why are you looking at 750 watts? But to me, having a 750 watt, it makes a little more sense, because if I need to take that rig home, I don't have to worry about it being on 240 to get the full 1200 watts.
Yeah.
What, it's maybe costs a little more, but in the long term, it's not like, oh shit, this has 1200 watt power supplies, it needs 2400 watts to run this rig. I can't just replace them with 2 750 watt power supplies.
Yeah.
So if I build everything with 750 in mind, if I need to upgrade to 1200s, I do have that option. But a lot of 81 of them shipped. Summers in the States was going to be about $1,000 Canadian, roughly. So it wasn't horrible for 81 750 watt power supplies.
No.
Yeah, 100% travel. You can get 900 watts at 120, but they scream like a pig.
Yeah, they do.
Like, they don't scream as much as, for example, the 750s at. Well, I mean, I'm running 2 of them, and let alone I always think of an HS box because they're about 130 watts on SIA. I always say 150 watts just to give me an extra overhead. So on about a 750 watt power supply, you can get about 4 to 5 HS boxes of the original ones. So
I've got an L3 Plus on one right now, and even when after I shut the L3 Plus down, there's like a good 90 seconds that power supply still screams.
Yeah. You should have been here when I had, how many GPUs was it in my room last? 24? Wasn't it no, it was 25, because we had both frames fully filled. We had 25 GPUs running in my bedroom.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We should not show the 12 gauge cable after that. It literally turned we use 12 gauge cable, like actual like good cable. It turned the white wire black.
That'll
in
happen.
the connector. So
what time of year was this?
Winter.
Oh, okay.
Like
That's
just
good
a
at
couple
least.
months ago.
Yeah.
So
that's a tough thing to sleep with in summer.
I slept on the couch. I was like, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought a new dryer that was more modern so that I could steal the outlet so that I have 240 at my house.
That sounds about right. Well, I actually just picked up some BX 10.2. It was on Marketplace. The guy wanted it was a 130-foot roll.
Yep.
And the stuff's like $5 a meter to go buy Canadian at the local store, right? The local electrical supply store. So I found it. The guy wanted like $150 for 130 feet. I'm like, this is cheaper than going buying it. So I bought it. My family went down, right? And they picked it up. The guy actually gave it to them for 120 cents. I went and got it for 125.
Nice.
So I got it for less than $1 a foot when the stuff retails like almost $2 a foot.
That's awesome. So, good job.
And I want to run everything in the facility BX wire because it's armored, like it's the armored wire.
Yeah.
Because the Romex, it can handle it, but the BX gives you a little bit more. You can push it. I'm not saying to do this, but you can, if it, let's say your power surged a little bit or something like that, you don't have to worry about the wires getting too hot and melting the outside coating. It's in metal. It's going to be a little more contained for any sort of issues. It's kind of like running your wires through a conduit, but the conduit is the wire.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Smokey Dan said, my room is around 50 C all year round, maybe hotter during the summer. That would suck. Yeah. Travelers Travels, APW 7 will get 1200 at 120. The thing is with the Bitmain PSUs is, I've had some, and I actually have 3 L3s actually sitting under my bed, which is like this way, just a little bit. That's literally where they're sitting.
But are they not running?
No, I mean just the power on them. I have them on they're on Vanish when I bought them. They came out with Vanish.
Stella's gonna yell at you.
Well, when they're 2100, when 3 of them are 2100 watts at 14 cents US roughly a kilowatt.
Yeah.
That's 28 cents an hour. Like it'd be when I was running them, it was when I was running just my 14 GPUs and it was almost 450 Canadian a month, and I was at the facility with about 12-cent power.
Yeah.
US. So I mean it would be, and I mean me and Laz have probably gained. I think we're running almost 3,000 watts of GPUs right now in my basement. So it's a lot.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Noobs.
Well, I actually bought a PDU I actually bought out a crypto firm, like an old guy that was moving, like an older, not an old guy, but a younger person that was moving and just had it. He was from Alberta. So he moved to Nova Scotia and stuff, and the guy had it on there, and it was like $750 for 2 Veta frames, a B250, an H110, some risers, 2 power supplies, and a PDU. And I'm like, well, the PDU's got to be worth at least $200 because it was an actual trip light one, like a 6-foot trip light PDU.
Yep.
And I was like, well, the 2 motherboards alone are worth probably $100, so that's $400. I think I got it for $550 for everything.
Nice.
Canadian. So I went up, picked it up, brought it back, and now I'm trying to sell the frames off and the power supplies off. And
got to keep an eye on the deals, man.
Yeah. Well, it's hard in my area, and a lot of people, when I started mine, said, why aren't you buying 30 shares? I'm like, I mean, we're just coming out of the bull run at this time. And I'm like, do you realize in my area, 3070 is still going for like 600, 700 Canadian?
Wow.
Because I'm not in a very highly populated place to where there's a lot of, you could say, competition trying to sell their stuff.
Yep.
So it's in an area where, a 4080, you're going to be paying almost MSRP for that 4080, even if it's used.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm here in the city and I have the same problem. It's still high.
but you're also in Europe, so it's also harder to find the deals too. And that, I mean, that's one of the reasons why he started to buy more stuff over here, because you know, you can't always rely on having free electricity forever.
Yeah.
So,
true.
So yeah, we're about 450 Canadian a month in power, so it's not horrible.
Yeah, no, that's not bad.
Yeah,
Not bad.
Sea Otter Mining's from around here. He said it's 250 for a 6600, 400 to 500 for a 3070. If you're lucky, Sea Otter. I've seen 3070s for 650 before in my area, and though these are Canadian prices, but still, like, and then they're like, why don't you buy from the States? I'm like, just be, you know, I might be spending $200 less, but it's cost me $100 to ship that.
Jeez, yeah.
Because I mean, the shipping on GPUs, it's hard because a lot of people send them in the boxes, which, you know, I appreciate that people send them in the original box. But when you have that sort of weight and that size, I mean, me and Laz, we bought two 1660s out of the States, and it cost us almost the same as 4 1660 Supers out of Canada. By the time, like, the shipping came here and the taxes, like, it was like, you know, it was pretty much the same.
Yeah. That's one of the things that we really try to help people with the ASICs is minimizing the duties or eliminating, I should say.
Yeah.
Carefully say.
Yeah. Helping reduce it.
Yeah. To zero.
Well, I mean, you know, we got the KS0. We did have to pay a little duty on it, but it wasn't like nothing much. Like, it was like $40. Like, I paid that on
Canada is tough.
Yeah.
It's like weird tough. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Because you're like, here's the thing. If you're in the States, my dad goes down. He gets a lot of parcels shipped to Calais. That's why we were down there over March break. We were picking up a ton of stuff. But if he ships it to the States, he can bring it across. But a broker wants $25 a parcel. So one day he was in the border office there a couple of years ago, and the guy was looking at him and said, "Why are you here?" And he's like, "Well, I have 100 invoices at $25 an invoice. That's $2,500. That's a pretty good day's work."
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, now it's quite a bit to go down and get it all. And damn, my power is $800 per month. My rent is only $450. Well, I mean, it all depends on what you're running.
That's awesome and awful.
It all depends on what you're running too, right? Like, if you're running a KS3, who cares, right? You're making upwards of $200 a day on Cedro, right? But if you're running L3s that are losing $1 a day, then you're in a different scenario.
Big difference.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons, like, I even told us, I'm like, we'll keep the L3s because it was actually my first Bitmain ASIC I ever got. It was my first ever decent sponsored video. So I was like, we're going to keep them because you never know what could happen in the bull run. But the chance of them being profitable in the bull run, especially with Locotech and the rumored L9, that Bitmain's holding off until Locotech does something.
They're burning them in for us right now.
Yeah. Well, not even that. Like, Bitmain's even said something about they're not going to release anything until they see what Locotech does, because if Locotech, like, actually launches the hash blades, Bitmain's even came out and said it wouldn't be worth it for us to sell the L9 because they're going to be more efficient, they're going to be more cost efficient, and they're going to be, you know, more hash rate, less watts, you know, and especially when they're coming out, you know. I've even seen pre-orders a year or two ago for the L9. It was over 10 grand. You know, it's a hard business to be in right now because now there's so much competition.
Yeah. I don't know. We're still waiting to see if Locotech's actually going to put out something real or not.
100%. We don't know what's going to happen with Locotech, but I mean, they are starting to be more of a thing, I should say.
Yeah.
If Bitmain starting to get scared of them, I think it might be actually a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to say with Bitmain because Bitmain has so many, like, as a lot of people say, well, Bitmain makes billions a year. I'm like, okay, do you realize how much Bitmain probably spends in research and development, what their payroll's like a year, what their, you know, cost to buy the equipment is, their cost of shipping it. I mean, shipping over the last 3 years has become crazy.
I wonder how much their L9s are making right now, though.
Well, I think it's about 3,450 watts at 16.9 gigahashes. I think is what because it was double the hash rate of the L7 at the same wattage, roughly. I think is what it was.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but
I'll say
that's
I
what
hadn't
I
looked
thought.
or seen it.
I mean, let alone this was a Canadian like pre-order site like over a year
Yeah.
ago. So
I try not to do pre-orders.
No, I just happened to look and I'm like L9, what the heck?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And just seen it. So.
I still want to get my hands on an L5.
Yeah, I've looked and I'm like, where the heck can I get one? Like they're like almost like a rare.
It was a very minimal run, I guess.
Yeah.
There were only a couple of farms that really got them.
Yeah. Well,
I want to have one just to have one.
A lot of talk about Ivy Link becoming a major competitor because of their new SIA coin, but Hawk actually told me that there's no real service for them anymore. There's no real servicing for them.
You mean like US? Getting replacement parts and service?
No, like getting repairs and stuff like that.
Noted.
Like supposedly that's what Hawk said. Like there's because I was like, well, the KS Max is like probably one of the best buys you can get right now for the hash rate because it's like it was at 10 grand. Like this was at when it was at 10 grand.
Yeah.
Now it's at 17. But he said there's no real repair center, you could say.
I'm gonna look into that.
And I mean, I don't know because I was looking into that new S1 Max, the upgraded S1 Max. That's rumored to be like 22 terahash or like 2,800 watts on low power mode. Just give me a second.
Important phone call.
Yeah. Apparently Gold Shell also. Yeah, Gold Shell also has kaspa asics coming. Right?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that. Interesting. It's going to be an interesting time these next couple of years. I'm excited. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I'm ready as well. At least I'm getting ready.
I mean, never really ready, but
you always want to be more ready than you actually can be.
Yeah. I'm excited. That's for sure.
Yeah. Because last bull run is actually the first bull run I was completely into it.
Yep.
And I have like 10, 20, 30 more GPUs than I had back then.
Yeah.
So that's for now. I might actually have a few tens more by the time actual bull run starts. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I started to focus a little bit more on ASICs, but I'm still neck deep in GPU mining.
Nice.
I never turned off after the merge, or I continued to accumulate any little tiny bit that I could.
Yeah, I'm very happy I found kaspa at the time.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, a few months before it actually got listed on exchanges.
Yeah. Did very well. Still holding it. I just realized the other day that one of my rigs was still dual mining Ergo and kaspa. It was a flight sheet that I had set up like way long ago. And I saw it and I was like, oh my God, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Fractions of a penny. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah, the thing's just sucking power at that point.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. But when you start to have this much going on, it's funny because, a few years ago, I would have never thought that it could be a thing. But the fact that I could have a rig like that going for so long and not even realize it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Because I have so much stuff running, multiple different locations, multiple different states.
Yes. Because ballpark figure, how much hardware do you have?
How do you want me to break it down? Like power-wise?
I'm not sure actually. Like
let me
maybe.
Let me just take a look at my Hive real quick.
Sounds good.
I'm currently pulling right around 10 kilowatt.
Oh, decent.
So not crazy.
But that's only the GPUs, right?
There's a couple of ASICs on there too, on Hive, yeah. And I don't do low power modes and things like that because I'm all about yield.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. No one's going to care about low power mode in the bull run when they look back and they're thinking about the pennies they saved on the electricity. But I also understand that not everybody is in a position to be able to front all the electricity, and low power mode might be the only way. And I do respect that.
Yeah.
But I don't do it.
Basically, a way to bite through the bear market.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Welcome
Sister
back.
called.
Everything okay, bud?
Oh yeah, sister called.
Good,
She
good.
had a meeting today, so she stayed up all day for it. Did they switch it to this morning and didn't tell her at the
Oh,
hospital?
awesome.
So not only did she miss out on the meeting, she probably could have picked up an overtime shift and made before taxes over $1,000.
Oh, man.
Welcome to our healthcare system. Screwed up.
Yep.
But you run an HS3 though, I think though, on
Me?
SIA. Yeah.
I've got an HS3 SE.
Yeah.
She's silent. She's got pretty lights.
Is that one run 120 or is that a 240? I'm pretty sure it's a 240 because it's a
It
pro
can do
version.
both. It's on 120 right
really?
now.
Really?
Yeah, it's in my kitchen. It's what heats my kitchen in my living room.
Hey, that
Heat
sounds
your
like
stove
me,
as
Laz.
well.
That sounds like me.
We don't really use the stove. We got a what the heck is it called?
Like a mining rig.
It's like
to put a plate on.
No. We got an air fryer oven thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So you get the hot air
Game
from
changer.
That thing
you get the hot
works like
air from the rigs, and then you put that in there.
Yep.
Travelers Travels. He's asking about the Mini Doge 3 that had those graphics, the killer graphics, the black one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna come out clean. Dogecoin and Litecoin on a small scale isn't really a smart decision, I'll say. If you're buying a script ASIC and you want to play in the game of a script miner, you really need to look into an L7. If you are mining at, at a scale, I should say, because realistically, the Mini Doge 3 was a comparable L3 Plus, but smaller.
Yeah, a little more quiet.
Yeah. So it's really to play in the script mining game, if you want to play in it, you need an L7, really. To be profitable in it. Oh, yeah. Like a collector edition, it was still like $600 for an L3, essentially, is the way you look at it. And I mean, I kind of have an addiction to HS boxes.
We can tell.
Just a small one.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's not the Mini Doge 3. I'm not saying Mini Doges aren't good for a home miner application, because you can't run an L7 in your basement. People would kill you in the house. But if you were in a place like your garage, if you're mining in your garage, I've seen the video where the guy literally cut a hole in his garage door and put like an AC Infinity fan from his miner out the garage door. I mean, like that's what you would do. Like Laz said, how are we going to handle heat at the facility? I'm like, when it's winter, I'll just open the front door.
If it's still too hot, we'll put a giant fan in it.
I mean, realistically, that's what a lot of places do. Find a big open facility that has a lot of garage doors, and they just cover the garage doors and open them up.
Yeah.
There's a little more math and science that goes into it than that, but yes.
Yes.
Essentially,
yes.
But I mean, realistically, the only things that we're going to be running constantly will be like, we would like to build 130HX wall frame setup. Well, we call it the wall because it's 4 frames wide by 4 frames high. So we call it a wall because it'll be like a modular area. So
it'd be beautiful.
It'd be 130HX, 1 or 2 CMP or not P104s, possibly, because they're equal to a 30HX, just half the price, half the wattage, half the hash rate.
Oh wow.
PMC,
So I mean, they're
check
pretty much,
chat.
it's just an older version of a CMP 30HX if you put two of them together. But I mean, the cost to buy the P106s now, you can buy lots of 100 of them shipped for like 2,700 Canadian, 2,300 Canadian shipped for 100 of them.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
so we have a new donut goal, by the way.
LOL.
Nah.
But
By the way, check the
that's
chat
kind
what
of where
Smoky Dan said.
he said, "Hi, my name is PMC and I have a SIA problem."
Yes.
Listen, if I showed you the SIA coin chart,
Yes.
let's just
Which one of these is it?
let's talk about it. It just hit. It's over 2 cents again.
No, it
and
isn't.
I called. Yes, it is. Well, it was up over 2 cents there a minute.
It's
But
basically at 2 cents.
People about a couple weeks ago, when SIA coin was at like 8 cents, 0.8 of a cent, I said SIA coin's gonna go anywhere in this bull run. I see 2.5 to 3 cents.
Yeah.
People thought I was nuts. Well, we're already here at 2 cents, and it's not even really the bull run.
Nice.
Looking good though.
Oh yeah.
So
look
New
at the
England
3 month
crypto,
on it.
do you sell any SIA coin miners? For
Yes.
PMC?
Yeah. I
Nice.
mean, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, the one thing I think Gold Shell kind of did bad, and I don't want to say this, the SC5s, it's neat that they have a low power mode on them, but, as a lot of people said, I'm like, they probably couldn't get the chips for the SC6 anymore or something like that. Because there's got to be a reason why they couldn't get the chips or something for an SC6. Because the SC6, it's still the top miner, almost at 13 cents USD electric. You're profiting almost $17 a day off of a SIA coin ASIC.
Yep.
That's awesome.
But the price on them, though, it's high. I agree with the people that say the price on these new SIA ASICs from Gold Shell, it is high.
Yeah, I
And
didn't
will
get one
agree with
yet.
them. Well, the SC Lights, they have a group buy right now, and it's 1,100 for an SC Light. I think if the price was more down to 900, like 900, 950, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, I'll take 2 for 11.
Well, and that's the thing too is, and also Gold Shell is coming out with a kaspa miner, but they are kind of, a lot of people are waiting to see what that is. And I mean, I say, everybody buys a KS zeros. They're 65 watts and 100 gigahash.
Yeah.
Now the new ones are 200 gigahash at like 110 watts, are they? 120, somewhere's in there. For the new pros. Oh, actually, I can find it right here.
Yeah, the Gold Shell
100
kaspa
watts.
boxes would compete with these.
Yeah.
I know for a fact, because Gold Shell leaked this, that their home miner version of it is going to be over a terahash.
Oh wow.
With how many watts?
So
That's
I'm
interesting.
thinking it's probably going to be like, now it could be a home miner, but it's the light version. Like it could be like in a light, it could almost be like a KS1, but for 120 or something like that. Because I actually looked into a KS1 for like kind of the same purpose as a HS0 or a HS light and an SC light. But the only problem, those Ice River KS1s, KS2s, and KS3s are only good for 240.
Yep.
So that drives a lot of people away from a market, because a lot of people that buy these smaller ASICs aren't going to be buying them to mine. They're going to be buying them as a space heater, to sort of say, to offset the price of actually just running a heater.
Yeah.
It is nice. It is nice to do that in the winter.
Yeah. And now you can't do it in some places, like over in Europe. Even even the person that owns LAZZ's building, he said, keep mining because it's cheaper to pay the power bill than it is to pay the gas to heat the place.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we haven't used the oil in my house in 3 years.
Nice.
But it's nice to have it if the power goes out in some ways. But I mean, even in some ways, so too, is, you know, I've always said something, and a lot of people look at solar mine. I'm like, if you're not building a solar farm on grid, there's no point in doing it, because your cost for batteries for what you need to run an ASIC would cost you more than you would want to know. Because, like, my grandfather, for example, when I was running the L3s and like 14 GPUs, I said, for me to have it, I'm running about 4,000 watts an hour. That means you need, 8 kilowatts of solar power with 12 hours a day, 12 hours a night. You need 8 kilowatts of battery, or 8 kilowatts of, solar, and you need at least 44 kilowatts of battery. By the time you fill that out,
that's an expensive little setup.
Exactly, and you're only running 14 GPUs and 2 L3s.
Yeah, and the nice thing about
but if you're on grid, where it doesn't matter, where the grid is your battery.
Yeah.
That's a whole other, different concept. But if you are going truly off grid, it's going to cost you.
And also, if you want to put a lot of solar panels on your roof, you can just fill it up. Instead of filling it up with a battery, you can also just have the night
on grid.
Like if the nighttime power price is lower, in your area, it's perfect. Just mine in the day and mine in the night.
Well, EcoFlow, I don't know if you've heard of them, New England Crypto, because they're kind of big in the US. Yep. Well, they have a panel now that it's actually a custom panel for their solar systems, for their houses and stuff. But it has a spot for your generator breaker. It has It has a spot for your solar breaker, and then it has a main service breaker. And I'm like, if you are a miner, if they can make a more industrial version of it, because I'm imagining it's probably a single phase 240 volt panel at like 200 amp, pretty standard home these days. But if they made something like a 400 amp and they were able to make it into like a 3-phase setting, that would be very attractive to a home miner, where they could have their solar come into the same panel as their main lugs.
Yeah.
Because when you really start setting up a solar system, you're paying a lot of money for that.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people that have gotten ripped off by solar too.
My knowledge is pretty limited. I've done some research on it, but
yeah, same with me. Nothing I say is financial advice about solar.
Yeah.
But it's a very, and as like, we have a friend, we're not going to say who, but we have a friend that says, well, I want to run because he's in New York. So, similar situation to Chump with, 20 cents a kilowatt hour power price, but he gets a couple hours, but he gets time where it's 6 cents an hour. And I'm like, he's like, well, I want to run this amount of power off of batteries. I'm like, okay, so you're going to spend $60,000 on batteries to run how many kilowatts? And I think we've worked it out. Okay, and I said, do you realize you're only going to be able to run this amount of GPUs for this amount of time, when you could have just paid the power and had an extra 60 grand in hardware? That would have made you more than what you're paying right now.
I mean, it is a great idea, obviously.
It's a great idea, but you have to think of the space. A lot of companies won't let you have that much battery in your house too, because if your house catches fire, it's a dangerous thing. You look at these, no offense, you look at these battery cars, they're great, but when they catch on fire, you don't want to be near them. Like I've literally seen videos where they had to take a front end loader and dump them into a lake because they couldn't put them out. Because they say, I think it's an average car fire takes like a couple hundred gallons of water, like 250 to 500 gallons of water for like a normal car fire. They say for an electric car fire, 50 to 100,000 gallons of water it would take. I think intense. Is what it said, because even if you put out the fire, the batteries just reignite. So the batteries just reignite until they're dead, essentially.
Yeah.
Because you technically have an electricity, which is just going to arc, and when it shorts out, it's going to cause fire.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the videos of the windmills that catch fire?
Oh, that's crazy.
It's so scary.
Oh yeah.
Do you mean our windmills or your windmills? Like Dutch windmills?
I mean, those would be pretty scary too because they're 200 years old and they're pure wood. So I mean,
it's a stone base, but it's a wooden top. Yeah.
Matchstick.
Yeah. Basically.
But I mean, there's a couple ASICs. Like I mean, me and Laz have a couple ASICs that, if we had the money, we would actually buy, and that's the E9 Pro. A couple E9 Pros possibly, possibly an X16Q, like just to have kind of like as a home machine.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if we can get our hands on an SC6IC, which you can't, but that would be one, or an SC5. And then what else did we say, Laz? There's something else we looked into.
Yeah, super scaler.
A D9.
Yeah, D9.
Because D9s have been killing it.
No super scaler.
Here's the thing with the super scaler. They're freaking expensive for what they are. They're about $6,000. You know, you could pay $6,000 for a D9, but if we go here to hashrate.no, and I've heard somebody didn't have as much luck with a D9, but if we go here, do a refresh, this is at 13 cents a kilowatt. Look at how much that D9 is raking in a day.
Yep.
You know, and some days it's not that. Some days it barely breaks even, but I mean, the other day it was doing $120 a day after power. Like, you can have a miner that's paid off within a couple of months.
In the bear market?
Pretty good. Yeah. So imagine, and here's the thing too, with the D9, you can mine a thing called Block X.
Yeah.
It's an X11. If you can make enough money off of Netsys, you can mine Block X for free, essentially. Put that onto iNodes, because iNodes has a node for it to where you can gain interest, where you can mine Block X right to iNodes.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing I need to learn more about is nodes.
Well, we currently have a
Neoxa. What?
Neoxa, and we have about $100 in there. Like, we've just been mining Carlson with the GPUs right on mineable to Neoxa.
Yep.
And that's how we've been doing it. Now, we kind of wish we just mined Siacoin when it was at 8 cents, or 0.8 of a cent.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably would have done better, but it is what it is.
Yep.
Use it. Cedra price has been tanking today. Sell as soon as pool pays out. We are actually holding on to our Cedra because it seems to be during the day it tanks, but at night, last night, just in general, last night it was up to almost a cent. It actually blipped at 3 cents a coin.
Like a candle at 3 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can show it. Like right here, it blipped because there was no market for it.
Yeah.
Like there was nobody with it, but I mean, it blipped here at like 0.71 cents. And I mean, this is at night. They're about 4 hours ahead, so this would have been about 11 p.m. your time, New England, about 12 o'clock my time. So, I mean, it does crap during the day, and like, look here, this is at night. We get into the daytime, goes up, goes down. Look at where it's been all day. Been falling, and then it's gone down. But you look at where it's nighttime in places where people aren't selling it, there's more of a demand for it, and the price goes up.
What's up with this project? Do you guys know much about it?
Laz?
It's basically another kaspa fork, but it's a straight kaspa fork, so also K-heavy-ish.
So you can mine it on KS0s and stuff.
Yeah, they are saying that they want to make a different kind of system for smart contracts and stuff, and like an entire metaverse, like kind of thing, like all the cool buzzwords.
Yeah.
We'll see about it, but if they can make it work, that's would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think too, with this project being out, I think even if some of the things they say may not happen right away, I think just the fact of people being able to mine a different coin instead of being stuck with just kaspa, I think that's also going to probably help keep the project alive too.
Yeah.
You know, people not just being stuck with, oh, it's kaspa. Oh, it's kaspa. Oh, look, new coin that we can use an asic on.
Makes the hardware more relevant too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and probably from here, more coins can come out with just a straight up KF hash instead of the Carlson hash or the Perrin hash.
Because actually, in last night's stream, we actually talked about this some. Like, we look at the last 3 months, we said last 3 or 4 months of coins. What has been the majority of those coins algorithms? Carlson hash, K-heavy hash type algo. You know, Perrin, it's still a version of Carlson, which is a version of kaspa. You know, we have Perrin, Carlson, Cedra, Nixelia. You know, there's a handful of coins that have come out on this lower algos coins. We have a CPU mineable kaspa coming that's hoping to be a more stable version of kaspa. Like, you know, as time moves on, I think we'll start seeing projects move away from Kapow just due to the power intensity of that algo.
Yeah.
Look at Meow Coin. It's moving to Meow Pow, which they're claiming, I'm going to say that with big quotation marks, they're claiming it's 40% less power.
Well, they have worked together with one of the kaspa devs to get it that efficient.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, not sure who it was again. Just I'd have to look it up.
Yeah. User, my 8 4090s are cranking on Hashcat, pays most. Never heard of Hashcat before, but people with 4090s, I always say, if you're intending to use for AI or any sort of stuff like that, you know, go for it. If you're going for an AI, period, go for it, because it will do good on AI. But if you're looking to mine, you're better off buying 4 or 5 3070s for the price of that 4090. Yeah, you're going to pay a little bit more in power, but you're going to get a lot more hash rate, and the cards are probably going to be built a little bit better and be able to work a little bit harder. Then, you know, you're going to be able to push that 4090. Because NVIDIA's even come out and said that their 40 series, you're not going to be able to overclock them like you can some of the 30 series.
I really hope the 50 series is good again.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
No. I can still hope. Yeah.
But I mean, we look at, and somebody asked me what GPUs do you recommend? I'm like, okay, what algo do you want? Do you want Kapow type algo, or do you want like everything else?
Yeah, it's a hard question to answer for people.
And I'm like, if you have the money, you're better off going with 6600, 6700s. But if you're looking for, you know, maybe more hash rate and just to bulk mine some coins, if you're careful, you can go with, you know, some NVIDIA cards. Like, I mean, me and Laz got a rack of 12 1660s.
Yeah.
You know? And, I mean, we have some 20, we have a 2060, 2070, and a 3060 Ti that we picked up. So.
Small variety.
Yeah, well, I mean, the 2060 I was able to pick up for like $150
nice.
Canadian. So like 100 US. Like you can't make that shit up.
Yeah.
And then a week later, his brother was selling his 2070, and I picked it up for like 200 Canadian. So, like, I got a steal on both of those. And then we actually got another 2060 that looked brand new, but we think it missed. We think it got hit, and the capacitor came off the back.
Oh.
So it wouldn't. It wouldn't like boot, like it wouldn't show up. So I actually, one of my dad's friends, he actually does wiring and building like Cat5 and internet type low voltage wiring. Yep. He actually does some stuff with GPUs and stuff. I'm like, well, it does me no good sitting at my desk. If you can fix it, you know, you know, if we can get it working, I'll, you know, give you something for it. You know?
Yeah, definitely. That would be cool.
The offer is still out there for anyone that can crack Samsung phones password 6 million in Bitcoin. So I've actually
the hashcat. Yeah, that's cracking, like password cracking thing.
Yeah. So there was a video made about a guy that had that much in Bitcoin on his phone. And it's easy to crack the phones, but the thing is it's sometimes the wallets, I don't know 100% how it works, but they said something about the wallet because it was inactive for so long, or that the phone was inactive for so long that the storage kind of forgot itself. So even if you have a phone or something that had a wallet on it from 2009, that storage may have actually wiped or forgot itself.
Yeah.
Scary.
Well, I mean, it's old technology. I mean, you're talking...
No, just the fact that it can happen is scary, you know.
Well, I'll be honest. We have a lot of me and LAZZ stuff we have through Zelda. You know, and not just because we don't want to have a card or anything like that. It's because with a card, it's in your name, right? And with LAZZ being overseas and me in Canada, you're only able to claim $9,999 tax-free worth of crypto. LAZZ can technically claim up to 50,000 euro tax-free. So if it's in a wallet, that's technically, if it's technically a shared wallet between us, how can somebody prove what's what? Is what we kind of say, right? Yeah. But with a card, it's in your hand, so what's on it is yours.
Yeah, like my Coinbase card says my name right on it, obviously.
Exactly. So it's, in a way, it's not because we're trying to evade or anything. It's because because most of LAZZ's hardware's here. I have hardware in LAZZ's rigs. The money comes out of the same account for the power, stuff like that. So it just makes it a lot more simplified when we're trying to, let's say, purchase something or make a trade or jump on a project where we want to take some money out of there and put onto this. It makes it a lot more easy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
For just trading value.
Yeah.
I don't really use Zelcore.
I'm talking about the same video. The guy literally went to somebody to crack it, but he got into the phone, but the wallet was not there. So, but it's definitely been. Oh, we actually have a pump right now happening on Cedra.
A what?
Cedra. It's
a pump?
A bit. It's up to 32. And I mean, you know, a lot of people look at this like, I mean, when me and LAZZ, we bought in like $100 worth at like, what was it last 4 or 5? Not 4, like not 0045. It was like 00045. So, I mean, we're still up. Oh wow, we're almost at 4. We're almost about to break the 40. Nice. But, and I mean, it's weird. Like here it's showing 37, almost 38. You go to non-KYC and they're showing 33.
Yeah,
so,
it was flipped the other day.
Difference.
Was it?
It was the other way around the other day. Let me actually check if their wallet is back up.
It can be tough with the micro stuff.
Well, I mean, I think there's just so much volume coming in to both sites that it's hard for it to be stabilized because, I mean, you think of how many, you know, there's almost 12 or 13 petahash on this coin now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually,
so it's not the amount of sell pressure, basically, if they want to.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. I'm pulling something up here.
The hash rate adds up quick when it's ASICs involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually have a thing tool here.
KS3 is basically the same hash rate as I like the entire net hash when I first started mining kaspa.
Oh wow.
Network difficulty 10 petahash, almost 11 petahash. So that'd be 11,000 terahash. So every day there's that much Cedra, so there's 44 million Cedra a day coming onto the network.
Yeah.
Roughly. Or I guess that's how much is made, but either way, it's a crap ton that's coming on.
I wonder if it'll be able to sustain.
It's surprising how well it's been since it's hit on Trago.
Yeah.
Like, me and Laz, like, we kind of thought the first day we were gonna see like it dump and then kind of just go up, just kind of work like a slow crossway trend.
Yeah.
But I mean, within a couple days, it was up to pretty much up to where it really launched at. And I mean, there was really nobody talking about it.
Yeah.
There was no real videos. It wasn't on any calculators.
Yep.
Like, it was just people found something where their KS3s are doing pretty good.
Yeah, true.
That's awesome.
And I guess
we shall see.
So what would for you during the bull run, what miners would you be looking at if you were someone that was looking to purchase an ASIC for the upcoming bull run?
Say that again?
If you were looking to buy an ASIC, right?
Yep.
For the upcoming bull run, what would you personally probably look into?
Oh,
Not
man.
financial advice.
That's a hard question. My heart is with Bitcoin mining.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't necessarily have the extreme.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's stable. It's not like you're going to make insane profits, but it's a stable asset.
You can plan for it. Like, I always have I have 2 people right now that are trying to set up large farms, and they want me to direct them where to go, what to use. And it's so hard to tell anyone, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I'm trying to get them to break it up a little bit and not go all on one, but it's tough because I can at least tell you, not dollar wise, but yield wise and such with Bitcoin. You know what I mean? Like a little bit more.
You can plan for it. You can plan for the halvings. You can plan for roughly how much hash rate's coming on the network. It's not like Kaspa where if a new miner launches and there's 500 of them, they're going to be gone within a week, and then you have a stupid amount of petahash hit the network.
And it's also a lot different if somebody's trying to buy 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 or 30 or 100, or do you know what I mean?
The other thing too is for me, an E9 Pro, it's still a very feasible miner to look into if you are looking to buy an ASIC.
Yeah.
It's not like the Bitcoin ASICs where, a lot of these facilities have the S21s. A lot of people have been having problems with the S21s. I don't know if you've sold any S21s and have.
I have, and they haven't had problems, knock on wood. But I've heard it as well.
And I mean, to me, like, if you're putting down several $1,000s on an ASIC, like, that can scare somebody.
Yep.
And I mean, if you're not a large facility that's got their own people to fix them, I mean, it's a very costly option. Like, if you have to ship that to China and back, I mean, you're looking at $500, $600 just to ship it.
Absolutely. So, it's the same in a way with like the hydro ones.
Yeah.
Because if I sell someone a 21 and there's a small issue, I will take it apart. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not taking any of the hydro ones apart.
No. Well, and that's the other thing too is
not a brand new one,
and a lot of the hydro ones too, they require high voltage. You need 480 or 600 volt to run them. Like, and that's where me and Laz are kind of lucky in the facility because my grandfather has 208 to the building, but he also has a step up transformer to I think 600 volt and a 480.
Oh wow!
Step up. Because it used to be a candy factory with big batch rollers and.
That's what I was just going to ask you. What it used to be.
There used to be a candy factory, and there used to be batch rollers that would require the higher voltage. So it kind of gives me and Laz maybe some more options for somebody, if someone was interested in that. But, the way I want to run me and the building that me and Laz kind of have access to is, you know what? If you have a hydro miner, you need high voltage. If you want us to help you run it, we can help you run it. But if you're going to do it, you're going to pay for the stuff to get it going. We'll help hook it up. We'll run it. But, there's going to be you're going to pay a little bit extra on the power just to keep it up and make sure that the space is being, not dead space, I guess.
Yeah. A lot of facilities that I've seen, will have original upfront fees for getting infrastructure in place for your designated equipment, and
100%.
and not all of them do that, but some, you know.
Yeah, quite a few now do, because there's been a lot of people that have said, oh, if you sign with us for a year, you get 1 month free hosting. After that 1 free month, they're like, well, this ain't working out. My ASIC's being sold.
I've seen a lot of stuff.
But I mean, an E9, I mean, just lately, I mean, an E9 has been a very, I think, not so much as an underdog miner, but a very underlooked miner. Same with the D9, I think. You know, that D9, it's about $6,000 to buy those D9s, I think. But I mean, you know, there's some place that I've seen 4,500, I think, somewhere. It's like, it all depends on where you're buying, where you're shipping to.
I haven't looked at the pricing on those recently.
But I mean, a D9, I mean, if you can have the miner paid in under, what I was always told in mining is, if you can have your ROI, or technically what they call ROII, under about 3 to 4 months, you're doing good on ASICs or any sort of higher end hardware. GPUs are a little different, about 6 months, is what I've always heard on ROII, roughly.
Everybody looks at that stuff differently.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what's your thoughts on CKB? A lot of people bringing that up with me.
I've got some hash rate there. I've got some solid hash rate over there.
K7 or little box miners?
No, I got a whole bunch of little box miners.
Yeah.
Dude, I love the box miners.
There's.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 6 of them.
I love them, and I know it's not a ton of money, but
no.
I also consciously went hard and heavy with them.
Yeah.
So that I have a lot of them.
As I tell people is, if you want to get into an ASIC, get a box miner. Because if you can't run a box miner, you're not going to be able to run an ASIC.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a few clients buy even like S9s at first, just to get their feet wet and learn before they.
That's very expensive. Very expensive.
Like you don't want. I've had clients get S19s, 21s, and plug them in improperly, wrong, and have issues right away. You know what I mean?
120 volt?
Or like even just in a PDU that can't support the amperage of a stock. You know what I mean? People don't always think of how it's going to run stock at first. Like even with an S9, if you plug it into a small server power supply and you haven't already set it up, man, you're gonna pop that thing like Panda. you have to be prepared for it to run at max, especially at first. You know what I mean?
Well, when I was running the L3s, I was running them on low power mode, so it was like 500 megahash, like 650 watts, I think.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah, but that's not really. It can go a lot lower. That's not really low power.
That was just like the simple click, you know, low power mode. But how I would fire them up is I had 2 circuits where I was running them. So I was running one, so I'd fire one up on one circuit, fire up the other on the other circuit. When that other one, fans wound down, I'd fire it up.
Yeah.
But a lot of stuff in the facility actually ran through 15 amp breakers, or not 15 amp breakers, but 15 amp rated power bars. Because I'm like, because as long as you're using a decent higher end, not a high end power bar, but you know, not something that's $2 at the corner store, but you know, use a Stanley, like we were using a Stanley 14 gauge, you know, just a power bar. And you know, when that thing popped, it's a lot easier to pop that than have a 20 amp breaker pop, because how it was wired is there was a 20 amp double 20 fuse box that was wired to a double 20 breaker that was wired out to the boxes. So I didn't really want to start replacing fuses every day, or turning the breakers on and off. But at least if the power bar popped, you know, it's a lot easier and less hassle.
It gets to be tough. There's only 2 power outlets in my house that my wife's allowed to use with a vacuum.
Oh,
that's how maxed out my house is.
Hey, battery operated. Merry Christmas. But I mean, even that sort of stuff has come a long way. Like when some of the first, Dyson, battery operated vacuums, they were like several $100, like $800 for a vacuum. Yep. Now you can get them for $200 or $300. Like,
yeah, I don't remember how much ours was, to be honest. I got it for Christmas.
Yeah. But
that Dyson stuff's pretty legit, man. He's a genius.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you run any FPGAs yourself, New England?
No, I would love to, but I have not gotten into that. That's a whole other rabbit hole I haven't dove into yet. Maybe after this next kid, I can think about that.
Yep, AC turns off to vacuum.
Wow.
Travelers travels.
Yep.
But so yeah, you have a kid coming in not too long, is it?
Yeah, due in June. She's actually due, like on paper, June 3rd, right? And I have a family reunion up in Maine that starts June 10th that we've like already committed to and paid for before we knew.
Oh no.
So we're hoping that she comes a little early so that we have a little more time in between. If she comes late, I'm going to have to go up to Maine and talk to some people at some hospitals. And thank God it's not the first kid, man. It's so different. Now that it's the third kid, like, I'm fine.
Like,
we can go to a hospital in Maine, bring her to a campground after.
My mother, when my sister was born, she was there for 14 hours in labor. Yep. Me, she woke up, she had a shower. Within 45 minutes, she went to the hospital. Within 45 minutes, I was there. She's like, oh, thank God.
Oh, wow. You never know how it's going to go down. You never know.
The first one's always the worst one, they always say.
Yeah, we had issues with the second one, and we had to switch to a C-section hours into the labor.
Oh, that would have pissed you off.
So the whole thing, but the cool thing with the C-section is like once they decide that's what they're gonna do, literally
that's what they're doing.
Literally 4 minutes later, the baby's in your hands. It's like a quick thing.
Yeah.
Where like we had just gone through hours of screaming and sweating and swearing and so to me, not being the one that has to go through it, I think that C-section idea is really good. I would sign up for that ahead of time.
When you normally have one, you can't usually do a natural again. Usually, is what
I think that's changed.
It depends.
Because they're trying to do natural this time, not C-section, because they don't want to cut again and they have to cut in different places. Stuff I never thought I was going to have to learn about. Let me tell you what.
Yeah. So now here's the real question. What does Stella think?
Dude, you want to hear something crazy, non-crypto related?
Yeah.
2 weeks before we found out that we were pregnant again.
Oh.
Stella was I was like tucking Stella into bed, and Stella was like, Daddy, do you know what would be awesome? And I was like, what, baby girl? And she's like, if I had a baby sister to go with my baby brother, that would just be amazing.
Really?
And in my head, I'm like, we're done. Like, no, done. Like we just got to the point that we are sleeping again. Like, I am done. 2 weeks later, my wife's like, oh my God.
Stella was right.
Stella knew. I don't know how she knew, but Stella knew.
Mom looks a little bit more fat.
Hey, maybe we should get her in the facility and ask her some questions. What projects are going to do great? Any new projects coming out with a name that you know?
Man, I'm telling you, like, what a
future.
What a crazy thing. Yeah. And that's the first, like, as soon as I found out, the first thing I thought was, how the hell did she know? Like, I like kind of blew it off, like, oh, crazy. I don't even want to talk about that right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because
to the point of sleeping.
Yes, like, not to be negative about it. Like, I am grateful, but boy, like, we You know, Boston just turned 2. Like, we are just to the point that
my
we can
parents
hand
hated
him
me
to the
'cause I didn't
grandparents and not be
sleep for the
scared.
first night. I think they said I didn't sleep for a whole night until I was like 4.
Every kid's different, and it can be tough. Like,
that
and
just
now
gives you an excuse to buy more miners for the baby's wallet.
Nice.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
And actually, just another thing. That's kind of why I like Zelcore, because it gives you different ways of being able to put money. Like, for example, New England. He can say, okay, I want to put this so much in this scholarship area. Oh, I want to put so much in like an emergency fund area. Like, and it breaks it up to where you can actually sort out what's what, which makes, I think, Zelcore actually more of a, a very, it's not like it's on a card and you don't know where you're pulling from. You can actually see, it's almost like your bank when you can log into online banking.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if we see Zelcore in the next couple of years come out with a card type system with Zelcore, especially since Flux bought them out. Because Flux bought Zelcore, you know that, right? New England?
Did they?
Yeah, they bought it out because they want to do some stuff with them or something.
Didn't they just put out a different wallet? Something related to Flux?
There's
they have a web wallet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know.
They have a spin-off of Zelcore, which is a web wallet, but it has a different name. That might actually... I'm suspecting they might rename Zelcore to that new name.
FSP or something. I think they want to just call it Zell or something like that, or I forget what because they said they had a name or something they wanted to rebrand it to, but or something.
Interesting. I can't keep up with Flux.
I mean, it's a very interesting project.
I am not a Flux fanboy.
Here's the thing. I'm not a fanboy of any project except Coin probably. But I know smart enough, though, with Flux and with what people were talking about over the last couple of years, that I should probably mine some of this just because I should have some stuff.
Yeah. They have a lot of different cool projects.
And they're also...
It feels like they all have ADHD sometimes.
Yeah, man. In the non-crypto world, like if we just talk regular business, right?
Yeah.
Any company in the real world outside of crypto that I've ever seen try to move that fast with that many moving pieces, like they're building freaking watches, man. Like, I don't care about that. Like,
Automatic Beast just said PMC a fanboy? No way.
But so like in regular business world, any company that moves that fast and has that many moving pieces and they all fail.
But we also have to look at the fact too, they were at CES too. So I mean, it's not just a project. It is a full-fledged company.
That's just spending money though.
Oh,
there's nothing. I could go have a booth there.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I could go to CDO at CES and all you have to do is fill out a form and pay the money. It has nothing to do with legitimacy.
And it's not
nothing against Flux or anybody, but like that doesn't bring any legitimacy.
No.
Okay, so when do we want to have a CES booth?
When we're not broke.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good.
when we have all of our shit that we have paid off, that'd be nice.
2025, 2026?
Possibly.
2050. But
you guys order too much stuff.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, as I told Laz, like, I mean, if we don't buy stuff in the next 3 to 4 months,
you won't be able to.
We won't be able to. Like, it's
That's what I keep telling people.
One, it won't make sense. 2, we won't be able to afford it because by the time we move the funds around and get the funds to do it, it probably would jump 5 or 10% on an ASIC. Like, and that's why if you are looking for bulk hardware, New England is probably the best because, I mean, you get the prices almost daily from Hong Kong and your supplier.
That's one of the main things. Like, and that's why people always ask, like, on Twitter, in tweets, like, what the pricing is. And then, like, 19 days later, they're coming back mad that it's not the same price. So I don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, come to me when you're serious.
Yeah.
I will get you the absolute best pricing right then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a bunch, put some crazy number on it, let them sit on a shelf, and then I can just sell them whenever at that price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, 100%. And I mean,
but it makes it hard because I would
does.
love to have a web store and do all that.
Well, I mean, we've kind of talked, I mean, off YouTube and off camera, I mean, the three of us, about some, I'm not going to tell fully what it is, but an upcoming project that we'd like to possibly reboot and possibly partner up with New England Crypto in some way for an ASIC. Way of him being able to do something.
Yeah,
we just have to see like how we can do the prices on that thing, because the price constantly change.
I mean, most companies, I mean, they're probably putting up their prices 25% or more, New England.
Well, that's what happens. Like even with some of the sellers that we know and work with, they have certain prices on their website, but if you like actually call and talk to them, you can get that same thing for less, but they have to put it on their website for that amount, because if someone clicks on it, they can't lose their shirt.
Yeah.
And I'm just not trying to look shady like that.
No.
Like, I don't like the different price. And I appreciate that you can contact them and get it for less. But I don't have time to be putting out one price, selling it for a different price. People are asking me why there's different prices.
But then there is some companies, and I don't know how many it's been, but I've seen a couple where, like, hey, if you want to buy one, it's going to be this. If you want to buy this, it's going to be a little bit cheaper. If you want to buy more than this, please contact me directly for, you know, email me, contact me for, you know, I will get you the best price I can for this. Or if you're looking to buy more than this amount of ASICs, please contact me.
Yeah, the first thing I do is see if it's a single unit order or if they're looking to get multiples, you know what I mean? Because the pricing is always different that way.
Yeah. If you're buying in bulk, it's always cheaper, usually. Until it comes to shipping.
I would actually like to talk a little bit after stream, maybe, just about that site.
Yeah. But does anyone have any questions? But I mean, E9s. I mean, they're started to come up in price, though, haven't they, New England? I mean,
everything's starting to go up in price slowly and steadily for a little while now. Even GPUs in my area are starting to be more expensive again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I was down in the States on that trip that we were gonna hook up on, you know, meet up, there was a guy in Boston, like just outside of Boston. He had a couple motherboards. He had two H110s and a B250. How much do you think I paid US for just the motherboards? And then I got 4 ATX power supplies. My dad got a laptop. How much do you think for everything?
All from that one guy?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I don't even know. I'd have to do too much math.
120 US.
Jeez Louise.
I paid like $25 a motherboard. And
that's crazy.
Like, and I'm like, and my dad looks at me and I'm like, Ron, get back in that van and let's go. Because I'm like, he's like, what? I'm like, because just those 3 motherboards in the last bull run would have been worth over $3,000. Because one of the H110s was brand new in the plastic.
That's crazy.
Thoughts on ETC? Me and Laz would like to get a bag of it. Yeah. I mean, Zill, what's your thoughts on Zill being kind of moving away? Like, I mean, Zill's
I honestly don't know much about Zill at all. I never got into it.
No. It just was like an added thing that you can click and
make
a little bit of profit.
Yeah, it was all, which is a very cool idea, but it was very weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how it was all very like intermittent, and I just never. I don't know. If I don't have a chance to learn about something, I don't dive in. You know.
I think it could be a neat concept if you were able to make it in a way that you could do intermittent projects and stuff on an ASIC like that, or, you know, not saying that Dynex or any of these AI type projects could use an ASIC, but have a project like that you can run on like a iPolo V1 that someone has that can just add your project onto, and but have it mostly GPUs. Like GPUs solve everything. But if, let's say, a big project comes on and you need extra hash power, you can use that extra algorithm on the ASICs to help the project or help the, help the service that you're trying to provide.
Yeah,
like, I don't know how that would work.
I think there's going to be a lot of auto switching stuff coming up in the near future.
Yes, 100%.
I was just talking to one software company that's working on an auto switcher.
Nice.
You know,
I mean, what do you think? I mean,
I can't yet. No.
No, he can't.
No, not yet.
He might get kicked in the head if he with what he said.
Yeah.
Not with this one.
No.
But have you? Now I don't know what your opinion is, but Jazz Miner said, I mean, it's been a while that they are working on a script miner. I haven't seen much updates on it.
I haven't heard anything.
But this was a while ago, but they said something about they are working on making a script ASIC. And I'm like, I want to see this because Jazz Miner's always had the, low power, good efficiency, stuff. But I haven't seen any updates on it, so I don't know where that is.
I hope it's a Q if they do. I want a nice quiet one.
Yeah. I mean, do you have an X16Q?
No, I don't.
They're still very expensive, really, for what
they are. Even like my price on it, it was never worth me getting one.
Yeah, I mean they're still about $3,000. I mean that's a lot for an ASIC. It's quiet, it's low wattage, but if you're spending $3,000, go buy yourself an E9 Pro.
Yeah.
Realistically,
that would be one way. I've got a lot of stuff that I want. I don't necessarily look at things like a lot of other people do, though.
Me and Laz, we talked about like what ASICs we would like, and we always kind of said like an S19. If we're going with an S19, we're paying just the same price, but if not, we're losing money because it's as soon as like if you buy an S19, it's like buying an S17 right now. In some ways.
Yep.
And I mean, but at E9, it's if an E11 comes out, let's say. It's not like there's going to be a ton of those E11s because the E9s will be cheaper and people will probably still buy the E9s.
You never know, man. I hear what you're saying, but you never know.
But I mean, E11s or E9s last boron, they were like 11, 12 grand. Some of them 16. I feel bad. Have you really researched Locotech and saw the miners they never released in the past? I have done some research on Locotech. And I have also talked to some people who actually went up and talked to them, like a couple people that, I work with on other projects and stuff. They've actually talked to them in person and stuff. And actually the company, Coastal, the one that's doing a lot of the pre-orders, because, I've had a couple people message me and say, how does this work? What happens with Coastal? I'm like, so Coastal will hold the money, will hold your order until they actually get delivered. If they don't get delivered by their date, they refund you and that's another thing why I say if you are looking to pre-order a miner, yes, you might be paying more, but go through a third party like that, because if you go through someone like Coastal Crypto, they built a name for themselves. They're not going to risk destroying it over some orders that were pre-ordered that they didn't really do anything for.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I wouldn't be like, and people have said, well, I'm going to send a pre-order from Local Truck directly. And I'm like, that's more risky. I mean,
I would trust that less. Yeah.
Yeah. I would say pre-order, pay the extra $100 on the pre-order, because if you pay that extra $100, in worst case, you get the $100 extra back. But if you go to Local Tech, you might lose $20,000.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah, you never know. That company just they give me a bad feeling.
As I said to somebody who was interested in buying one of the 10 stack, like their big one.
Yep.
I said, if you're gonna do something, just wait it out, buy some other hardware, have it start mining for you, and then when it comes out, once it's released, then go buy it if you still really want it. Because as I said, if you pre-order it, you're probably not gonna get it for 6 months now.
Yeah.
Right? So, if you're waiting 6 months, you have $20,000 tied up for 6 months. You can go buy an ASIC and have that, money probably back fairly quickly. Smoky Dan, the roller coin farm that I had, like it was a game. I kind of just started not having the time for it.
I wanted to play that stupid game too, but I just, man,
I mean,
there's
and
not
then they
enough
started
hours in the day.
Yeah. I mean, you're very so. I mean, you've been selling quite a few KS zeros.
Yes. Yeah. Lots of inquiries, a few sales.
That's good.
Yep. Obviously, don't make much on those, but it's good to help the community and.
Yeah.
I
mean, I've even sent you some people. I mean, we bought our original KS0. We kind of got screwed on that deal. Nothing on New England Crypto. We just got screwed on the timing of it.
Yeah.
Because like literally the batch afterwards at half the price.
Yep.
It was, yeah, nice.
And I would have told you if I knew.
Yes.
What's funny is I make the same at both prices.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like it wouldn't have helped me any to sell it like it
more expensive.
I literally would have I would have looked awesome if I could have known in advance and told people to wait.
Tariff got me on the first two KS zeros. Did you order through New England Crypto Tech then, or who did you order through? If you don't mind me asking. But I mean, tariffs are so spotty. Like, I mean, in some places you don't get hit, and then I mean, in some places they'll just give you through Ice River. That's the thing. Like with New England Crypto, with his price was pretty much almost cheaper than Ice River's website when you actually looked into it. Because if we were just to order the power supply and the machine, we would have been looking at a grand plus $100 shipping. Through you, it was $1,000 flat.
Yep.
So I mean, realistically, we really save money going through New England than the actual retailer price.
Sometimes it works nice like that.
Yeah.
And it probably also depends on the quantity you're buying from your seller, and if you're buying, I'm not saying any sort of numbers, but for example, if you're buying $1,000 a month, you're probably not going to get the same discounts as if you're buying $40,000 a month worth of ASICs. Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh, $437 tariff per.
Wow.
Plus, wait, no, 437 plus. You're saying you paid $437 tariff on each miner?
Power, check the Cedra price.
Oof.
What the hell was the price declared at?
Oof.
Or the value? That's crazy.
Total on two. So I mean, still.
Non-KYC.
Still, though. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. I like that number. Keep going. Go up. Yes. Go up, you nerd. Dude, we were at 6. We hit 6. We could have sold at 6, dude.
Yeah.
That would have been like how much? That would have been like
how long ago was that? Oh, that's an hour ago. Yeah.
What are you guys planning to sell at?
Anywhere between 0.5, like 0.5, like 0.5 to 1 cent. Like somewhere's in there. Because I mean, we bought it like 0.00045. Like we would be over 10xing our money on it.
And you gonna sell it all, or are you gonna do like half?
Well, we sold some of it to recoup the initial investment. So we have like 200k coins left. So.
Yeah, but that was way down for me already, sucks. So I'm kind of sad about that.
But it might go up again. Yeah. But it would have been nice if we could have catch the train where it was at 3 cents last night.
Yeah.
But I mean,
that stuff's so hard, man. You could sit there and watch it like paint drying.
It's not, but you know what's
as
funny,
soon as you go to the bathroom, it freaking takes off on you.
I mean, as soon as we have a nice conversation for 1.5 hours,
yeah,
it bumps.
And then we lose it.
Girl, yeah, it's so hard. Yeah. That was happening to me with Honey, with Hive Mapper.
Yeah.
We were like watching it. We were like watching it pump before we went to bed, and then I'd go to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning and be like, "We're gonna sell in the morning." It was like just going up and going up. And then we woke up in the morning and it was like 16 cents. We're like, what happened?
Speaking of Hive Mapper, like my area is not mapped. Like the only part that's mapped is the 2 highways that come into kind of my town.
Yeah.
I live a little outside of town, but the town is not mapped one bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to go over there and map the entire place before PowerMass can get a
right.
Well, I mean, the thing is though too is now HiveMapper is consolidating 2 cameras into one. Yep. So now they're only charging for 1 camera, but the price is higher than the starter camera. But supposedly the rewards are higher. So, I mean,
dude, I make so much money. Like they're so profitable. It's hard.
I know.
But I have no idea what it's going to be like by the time you actually get one that you order.
Exactly,
now.
And that's kind of the thing I was looking at. Is like, if I'm putting 400, like, because I was looking when it was like that $2,500 back worth of honey in January or December or January, because I was looking at possibly figuring out a way to get one. But I'm like, if I'm waiting till freaking May or June to get this, what happens if this project just goes bottoms up?
You never know. It could be obviously way better, but you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it's not like it's a little bit of money. It's,
Yeah. We've been running hours for months now, right? Yeah. The least we've ever made in a week is $169.
What the hell?
That's the least we've ever made in 1 week is $169. And we don't drive extra. Oh.
Well,
whoa.
That's whoa. Oh. Well, that's the
that's interesting.
That's the basic job.
Well, yeah, while we wait for him, I don't drive any extra just for it. Like, we only, for the most part, drive our regular, you know what I mean? Bring the kids where they need to go, get to the facility.
No. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking of trying to get my dad to get one, or get one for my dad, because he goes all around the country.
Yeah.
He does stuff at different factories to like the insulation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he's all around the country, even into Germany and into Belgium.
And he drives to place to place?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
In his bus, so like in his van, I mean.
Because we had found out that at the beginning we could just drive around my neighborhood and make a lot of money because it hadn't been done yet. But the more you do it, you can't just keep driving the same roads and get paid the same amount. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we'll just kind of think of what's a different way that I can get to my in-laws, or do you know what I mean? And we'll just go a different way to get there, or we'll plan our errands for on the weekend and when we're as a family and we'll all go out hive mapping together. But we don't take a couple hours a day just for that or anything like that.
Yeah, and from what I've noticed from my dad is he comes everywhere all the time. Like, that thing would be perfect for him. So
that's awesome.
I just have to check how much it is to set up for someone who doesn't know how his phone works. So
the new one will help a lot. The one that we have, you have to get the pictures from it to your phone.
Welcome back.
Hey, welcome back.
My computer just decided to take an absolute.
Okay, be glad I'm streaming at the moment.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, that would have been on the stream. Yeah.
Oops. Well, at least I'm back, I think.
We kept it going for you, buddy.
See y'all. Not joking.
SDR almost climbed back to 0042.
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, what the? There. Override 00445 last.
Nice.
We're at 445. Nope, 44 or 477 now.
We'll see. I'm probably going to have a discussion with you after stream, at what price you want to sell.
Oh. No. I wonder, since I was on Mind the ASIC, right? Because Chump had an issue earlier too, remember? Chump had a thing this morning pop up on Mind the ASIC and it crashed his computer.
Oh.
So something that popped up on it?
Yeah. Almost like a link or something. I didn't press anything on Mind the ASIC, but
Odd.
Weird.
I'd say
like
close
always.
it for now.
I would.
Yeah.
Look at all those tabs, just like me.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to see it. This is only Google. This is only Windows Explorer. I have a Google that's worse.
Yeah, this is just for stream stuff. Basically. Yeah.
This isn't including the stuff.
That's awesome.
Bot Life Gamer. It's been really weird with SDR on Trade Ogre and non-KYC, and I think it's just because the amount of volume coming into both exchanges is putting the coin at a different price. To be honest with you, I think that's the only difference and reason why it's actually changing and why there is such a difference. Because, you know, Trade Ogre is at 416. We're at 447, 448 now. And I think it's just because of the fact that there is so much volume in this coin that's coming in and going out of it that it's just having a hard time trying to keep up.
People would just stop selling.
Yeah, if people stop selling, we'll be sitting real good. But I mean, and there was one thing I was looking at, and it was called the X4 brick right here. This is what I reached out to you about New England.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's 65 mega hash, all right, but it's at 30 watts.
Yep.
And I was like, solo mine. Like,
yeah, she's a cute little one.
Yeah, it's you know, and I mean they're only $100 and some bucks to buy. Like, and I mean it's actually profitable at 21 cents a day.
Does anywhere have them right now?
Where is it at? Right here. What the? I mean, Jazz Miner says they're in stock, but I can't get on their website for some stupid reason. I don't know why. Let's see. Well, let me get onto the Jazz Miner website. Probably not. Let's see. Wow, it actually let me. X3 on you. I think that would be it there. Yeah. There is 0 stock of them.
Huh.
But I mean, 108 bucks.
I don't know much about any of these.
Those look like KS0s, but with a handle.
Right.
Dude, imagine just having a solar backpack and being able to just hold, like, just freaking strap this to the side of your backpack when you're out walking around.
It's just a big, giant heat sink.
Yeah.
Yusuf, someone dumped a bunch of SDR this morning. People have been dumping SDR all day and buying it.
Yeah, sure.
So you can't just say somebody dumped a ton of it.
It's being traded quite a lot. That's the thing.
I've only solo mined with my G1 Mini, average 76% luck, but this current block is up to 450%. Nice. Now, there's been a couple big ASICs come out for the Grin algorithm, like the G1 and stuff. Like, or not come out because it's been out for a while, but has gained traction, I should say. All-time high on SDR. What? That means it's over 3 cents. Because technically the all-time high is technically the all-time high is 7.1. Oh, possibly they're probably looking at Trade Ogre. Yep. Oh wow, Trade Ogre's moving.
Nice.
Yeah, look on non-KYC, Jock.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher on non-KYC actually.
Quite a bit higher.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Actually, yeah.
But
like I said,
either way, people, I think this project's gonna do good as long as it's managed well. And we've actually, I don't want to give too many hints away, but we may have talked with the, what do you call them? Owner, not owner, but
Main dev.
lead
Founder.
developer, main guy,
Yeah.
main person, and we might be setting up a Q&A with etc.
Nice.
So we don't know when it will happen, but we are in talks with trying to, get the people in place and make it happen.
Yeah, just putting Cedra on a New England's chair, like down there.
Well, maybe New England wants to join in. Do you think I'm going to tell him no? No. It'll be like a
You're
football
always
party
welcome.
in here.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
The amount of shenanigans we get into is kind of nuts.
Yeah,
Oh, you should
an
have
invite
seen
is always open to you.
I appreciate that very much.
The last half hour of our stream last night, Laz.
That was bonkers.
Laz was like half asleep and literally private messaged me saying, "Listen, I'm going to bed in 10 minutes." 9 minutes after he sent that message, $1,800 US donation.
That's crazy.
He's like,
I'm not going to sleep
awake.
Now.
That'll wake you up.
Okay, so for anyone in chat, I am getting a little bit tired because it's already like 9:30. If someone wants to drop a giant donation to get me back up,
wake me right up again.
Hello.
Wake me right up again.
Sell out. But I don't think anyone's gonna beat
hit the like
goal,
button,
the
hit the subscribe button.
It helps us out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. When baby Boston was born, there was a YouTuber. Do you remember Cal Miner?
I think I've heard of him. Maybe
he was around for a while. He's in California, I believe.
Okay.
So he was behind me time wise.
Yeah.
So I would like get my family to bed, and baby Boston and I would get set up, and we would like live stream with him.
Oh, that's sweet.
But I didn't have a camera on because I was like wrestling a baby. But you could like hear Boston over the microphone. Oh my God. We used to do it for hours. It would be like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'd still be going like.
But you know what though? I've always said though, like I've even said to Chump too, like you should actually get your kids into it. Like, teach them how to thermal paste a GPU and do all this stuff because, soon it's going to be the only job that actually is going to be able to be done by human hands is re-thermal pasting GPUs.
Yeah.
You can't really have a machine because if with a machine it's usually in the same spot and can't put the torque on them right and stuff like that.
That's actually another service that we started to offer is repadding and repasting and testing, benchmarking, sending back GPUs.
Do you want some Fire Hazard RX cards?
I've got a stack of RX 580s that need to get done. I still run 580s, so.
I had a 570 catch on fire in front of my face.
Jeez Louise.
Like, yes. I mean, like, literally, I was standing here and it started smoking there and flashlight.
What the heck?
Yeah. I was testing them. We bought a lot of 15 of them. The description, they showed a little bit of rust on them, but they said there was no physical damage. So
sounds like
there was
there was
3 lots. They were coming from South Carolina, so we paid a good amount of money to ship them. We paid a good amount, so there was just a little bit of rust because obviously salt water, right? So, but we were like, listen, we can take off the metal, we can clean it up, I can repaint them black, and if we can get 11 out of this lot of 15, we'll be giggling. Because this is when Carlson and stuff was like pumping to the point like throw them onto a B250, crank out some more Carlson.
To that point.
But when we got them, corrosion, literally 4 had smoke damage, like soot on the back of them.
Wow.
1 had a broken fan. It ended up being the one that caught on fire in front of my face.
So you got none of them working? We
had a couple that boot into Hive, but then we've had a couple. Then they just kind of don't want to load in.
Wow.
That's why there's some sitting like right there because some of them we've taken apart and some of them need repasting and.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we kind of got screwed out of that deal. I mean, that was a $300+ purchase.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got a decent deal out of them. Like we paid like $20 a piece, so we were like, the cooler's worth that alone.
Yeah. It's not like buying an S21 and having it die 5 days later.
That's when I would send it back to Bitmain and say refund.
Even that's expensive though.
Well,
sending stuff back.
I'll be like, well, then I'll send them the bill for the. I'll say, well,
and you have to have the box.
Well, I actually when I got the 3L3s, the guy literally, I think it's an S19 or an E9 boxes. I mean, the box is huge. It has to be like an E9 or a Z15 boxes. I mean, the box is probably.
Oh wow.
Like that long, like at least. Well, I mean, my desk is over 2 feet wide and it sticks out from the wall, and my desk is away from the wall, so it's probably a 30-inch long box.
Wow.
So it's got to be an E9 box. So I literally walk into the post office when it got delivered, and I said, "Yeah, I'm here to pick up a big box with Bitmain tape." And they're like, "Yep, we know the exact box you're looking for." I literally just said big box with Bitmain tape, and they found it.
That's awesome.
And they're like, "Are you sure you're gonna be able to do this?" Yeah. So I have my mother's Hyundai Elantra car, open up the side door, shove it through the back seat. That was an interesting day.
That was a good adventure. Great. Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't pay much for the like L3s. I think the way I worked it out is I pretty much I paid for the machines and videos and paid for the shipping.
Yeah.
The shipping cost is how it roughly worked out.
Yeah. Oh. And how many of those do you have? Or is it just one?
Three.
You still have all three?
Yeah.
All three.
So you'll be able to sell those. You'll be able to sell those in 2025.
I have a couple hash boards that actually Matt Electron sent me.
Oh, nice.
He sent me a spare control board and 2, I think, spare hash boards. They're actually in here. I always kind of thought we could gear them up in like a spare control board and some hash boards. So
that's very cool. He fixed one of my L3s for me.
Yeah, he was like, hey, do you want a couple spare hash boards and a spare control board? And I'm like, sure, like, it doesn't hurt to have them.
Yeah.
But I thought if you could gear those up in like a big 3U or something server case, you might be able to fit quite a few in them.
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Because you can buy like those 3U server cases and stuff. But
yeah,
this might be an idea for the future.
I was looking at the Jazz Miner servers. You know how they have like the server miner things? I've like never seen any content on those.
What's Miner makes one for Bitcoin.
That's awesome.
But it's Hydro. So it's 3-phase. But here's the thing with Jazz Miner. They're a good company and they make a solid product. But the thing is with their rack mount stuff, I think they charge a little too much for the
that's why I don't have any. But I looked at them and I love the idea of it.
Yeah. I mean, the same. Laz was looking up something, and it's what do you call it, Laz? It's a GPU and a CPU. It can be used for either.
Oh yeah, it's basically a PS4 or 5. PS5
chip.
Chip.
CPU, but it's also you can use it as a GPU.
Yeah, it's an APU.
There's 12 of them.
2 of them.
Oh, okay, yep.
So but it's like, and he was looking at it was like $1,000 for the 12 of them in a server case load.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, when you really break it down to the cost of, running the extra power to run it, and I mean, the CPUs aren't the best in them. Like, we really only figured out, like, you're paying over $1,000. So, I mean, there's no real point. You're better off going and buying just some decent CPUs, and there you go.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get a Threadripper soon. Even, like, maybe not a crazy one, but just to learn with.
Okay. Yeah.
It is funny how... One sec. I do like how the miners are also coming for your consoles now. It's the broken consoles, just worry. once the expensive consoles are once the working consoles are worth more as mining equipment than as gaming equipment, they're going out for mining equipment probably.
Bot life. If you haven't sent your funds to non-KYC, just be careful because they could get tied up, because we got ours tied up for, I mean, it was a good amount of time.
Hours on end.
But it could be fixed by now. But it could be fixed by now because they've done quite a bit of maintenance today.
Yeah, sure. Basically, the Explorer was down on Shadra's side, which basically was like non-KYC was like, we cannot do anything if we don't have the Explorer, because they use that to send everyone the right funds and like double check it. No.
So I see you still run the Yeston 6600.
Yeah, that's LAZZ.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those actually look like a pretty well-made GPU.
They are. It's from what I've seen so far, they are.
And I mean, they're not reasonably expensive either. They're like, I think I've seen the 6600s. They're like a couple $100 a piece.
Not when we bought it, but yeah, now they are.
Of course they are, right? Of course they've gone down.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the 30HX. I was able to get a 30HX, let alone it's not the ones, but shipped from AliExpress to my door, let alone I waited about 2 weeks for it. I paid under 90 bucks Canadian. Now to buy that same GPU, it's probably 120. But I mean, now if you buy in bulk, it's a little different. Like you can buy a lot of 10 30HX Asus dual type of housing. We worked it out to be like 61 USD or 61 Canadian, or it was like 61 USD a piece, I think, shipped from China. So I mean, reasonable. Like
that's not bad.
And I mean, and a lot of people say 30HX, that's horrible. I'm like, okay, what do you mostly run? Well, I run mostly 1660 Supers. I'm like, you're running 30HXs, like, you know, because that's what a 30HX is just a 1660 Super without the video output.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit bins sometimes, but
I try to stay away from the mining specific cards, just for resale purposes.
Exactly. But for example, like that's kind of why me and Laz are doing this wall ID, because you know we're not going to be. It's not going to be the main. We don't want to put all of our money into it. Like we're going to put. I think to build one wall with P106s, it's going to be like $5,000 Canadian for like 40 gigahash on a Carlson type algorithm, like.
And one good spec mining pump will cover that with all that.
Exactly. And especially when you own your, like we rented some hardware on Nexelia, and we were paying $1 a gigahash. We were paying $1 a gigahash for Nexelia, for when we were mining Nexelia. We paid $1 a gigahash a day. And I'm like, Laz, we need to own our own hardware. Like renting hash rate isn't always the most affordable thing.
No, it's like a cool idea, but once you do it for a while, it's like renting a car, you know what I mean? Like or you could live in a hotel and it would be awesome. But boy, would it get expensive.
Oh yeah.
I actually know a couple people that lived downtown in hotels, but they're apartments. They look like hotels. They're owned by hotels. There's a hotel sign outside, but they're all more long term.
It's kind of like where my sister went to university.
A lot of the high end
dorms, or
a lot of the high end
hotel
kids.
Rooms. They're hotel rooms in the summer, but when it's in school, it's a dorm room. I'm running in P106s because I got them for $15 each. Yeah. Already four times my investment soloing XNA.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But I mean, when you can buy those cards for $25 a piece, like I mean, you can buy a mass quantity of them, and realistically, you know, eventually we'd like to have 400 P106s, 2 walls of them, so 196 cards times 2, and then do a 30HX wall. So when we really need them, you know, technically together we'd have 2 walls of 30HXs, but we're able to break down the P106s. So let's say there's 2 good coins that come out. It's not like we only have 2 walls that we're paying $2,000 a month each in power. We can break it down to the P106s that if it's not as profitable, we can still manage a $2,000 power bill, but on 2 different coins.
Yeah. You guys should look for like older farms that are trying to liquidate.
This is there's a company out of Quebec that has the lots of 100 GPUs.
Okay. Yeah. I bought a couple of farms that were older in the bear market, and
well,
I feel like I did pretty well.
Probably did. I mean, you did pretty well in those 580s, I think.
Yeah.
Because you bought those. Now the iPolos. I mean, I know Stella has quite a few of those iPolos, doesn't she?
The ones with the NFTs on them.
Like the mini.
The G1 minis.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the G1 minis together, and then she has a V1 Mini Classic Plus. V1 Mini Classic Plus.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of names for the V1s. There's V1 Mini SE, V1 Mini Classic SE, V1 Mini.
Dude, when I got that thing, it made like $8 a day. It was awesome.
I mean, and you could probably get a couple of them and start soloing ETC blocks.
Probably.
I mean, you look at what Chump was able to do with, I forget what he was running. I think he was running an X4Q and his X41U, and he was on solo mining, and he was able to hit, like, there was 1 week he hit 7 blocks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And now I don't know if he had an X6 or an X16 during that time, but I think it was only an X4Q. He was running his office.
That's pretty cool.
So, I mean, he was hitting a lot of blocks. So, pretty interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
But, I mean, if you're looking for hardware, don't be looking at the best thing you can. But, like, a lot of people go into hashrate.no and say, oh, 4090s are the best. It's the best profitability-wise, but when you look at the cost to buy, there's 100 better options. Like, think about it. What it would take to buy 3 4090s, you could buy 200 GPUs with. Now, your efficiency is not going to be the same, but if you're spec mining or any sort of coin, you're going to have the hash rate to make a lot more in the long term, depending on your power rate.
Yeah, it really depends on your power rate and what you can do. If you live, not everybody's got a big building they can use. You know what I mean?
No.
I know a handful of like apartment miners, and it gets so hard, like trying to figure out outlets, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're lucky, Laz. You live in the UK where everything's 240 volts.
Not the UK, the EU.
Same thing. You still.
The UK literally left the EU.
Here's the thing, though. You live in a place where everything is 240.
Yeah.
Right? But so you don't have to worry about it as much. Yeah. Like you could technically, if you wanted, plug an S21 into your wall.
Yes, basically. If I wanted to, I could. Do I want to? No. But
no.
I could.
Now, have
like
you
the wall outlet is about 3,700. No, something around there.
Yeah, I mean, you can plug in an S19 like 86 terahash machine easily.
Let me actually check what the power output is on the
watts
bricks here.
Times amps or amps times volts equal watts.
Yeah. I cannot wait this yet.
Oh, Bot Life Gamer. I got it easy. I got it working easy. Mining for people is confusing for me.
Set down, of course I can read it.
We're using mining for people. It's pretty. You have to find the right pool, and we've got it set up.
Yeah, 3680.
Yeah.
About 37.
Yusuf, 4090s, and A100. So 4090s don't rule. They don't. If you're doing AI, that's one thing. But if you're talking about mining, 4090s cost to buy, and I think everybody in this StreamYard can agree, a 4090 cost to buy is not worth it. Like if you're running 4090s for mining, you're probably new to mining, or you have a ton of money that you don't give a shit about, politely.
I mean, I would love to have a couple of 4090 rigs if I didn't have to pay for them.
But would you use them for mining or AI?
I don't do any of the AI stuff. I use AI, but I don't do Vast or any of that stuff. That's all too. I could get into so many reasons why I stay away from it.
Okay.
I don't know. 4090s like kill it on a couple of things though.
Can I just say something? Use it. You have two 4090s that give you 13 gig hash on a lithium. That does not beat an FPGA. You can buy a K10 superscaler. That's $6,000. So literally buy one more 4090, like an extra $2,000, depending on where you're buying from and depending on the 4090, because some 4090s are close to $3,000 a pop. You could have yourself a K10 superscaler right here. K10. You can buy them from Coastal Crypto, or I don't know if New England sells them.
We do.
Okay. You could have on a lithium 4.46 gigahash.
Yeah, so you need about 3, 4 of them.
And Yusuf, this is a mid-level 8. This is probably your standard FPGA.
Yeah, I would say most people. This is
1800 watts for 46 gigahash.
And what's a 4090 pull on a lithium?
You can click on the GPUs on there. No.
Oh no, wrong thing, wrong button again.
Yeah.
It pulls 361.
So let's do that times.
Okay, that's not the. That is not the most powerful. But okay, we're talking. Okay, you get 13 gigahash on 2. Okay, so you're getting about 6.5 gigahash a piece for about $2,000, right? You could spend $6,000 and have a shitload more hash rate. You might be paying a little bit more in the wattage, but instead of for what it would cost you to get those enough 4090s to equal this FPGA, you could probably buy 2 of these FPGAs. Because you're probably looking at 2,500 4090 now. I don't know what the market's like in the US. Power is free, so it doesn't matter though, Yusuf. But your cost to buy on a K10 is way cheaper for hash rate.
It is nice having the versatility with the GPUs, though.
It is, but if you're buying 4090s for mining, though, you could be buying 3070s or 3080s if power's not an issue. Okay, but still at 1,700, by time, I'm just saying the average, because there's 4090s that are way expensiver than $2,000. There's some that are cheaper than $2,000. But I'm saying, just in general, you would need. Just let me pull up my calculator.
Yeah. Okay.
So if we have.
I also already calculated
6.5.
it.
Oh.
Yeah. You need. Well. Okay. So wattage to on the both of them. You would need 5.23, if I do this right, by the way, 1 sec. Yeah, if you divide the power of the superscaler with the 4090, you would need 5. 1 sec, where's my calculator?
Just round it up.
Yeah, but basically 5.5, 5.25 4090s to get that hash rate. No, to get that power. But to get the hash rates, you need about 6 of them.
So you're
getting
talking
about
And here's the thing, though. If you need 6 4090s, let's just average the price at $2,000 a piece. You're talking $12,000.
Yeah.
You're paying $6,000 for a superscaler K10, and that's from a reseller. So if you go to someone like New England Crypto, he might be more around the 5,500 range. If Coastal has it for 6, chances are New England's probably going to be a little cheaper.
So,
okay, but you're talking about a 4090 mining a lithium. And we're telling you that what we're trying to show you is that mining a lithium or mining on a 4090, there are better options than buying a 4090.
Yeah.
And there's even been people in Red Panda's chat, because I know you came from Red Panda stream, that have said the exact same thing to you, too.
Yeah.
It's one thing if you're running an AI program or something that's like using the hardware and you need that 24. No, normal level, dude, right here. There is your gigahash from a K10.
Yeah.
This is pretty much your standard FPGA that you see a lot of people run, are the K10s. There's K20s, there's K30s now. But if you're running a 4090 on something like AI or a second party, service that you need that 24 gigs of RAM and all that to get the most profit out of it, that's one thing. But when it comes to mining, you need to look. No, it ain't. That's too level. Top. That's not a top level machine. You're paying $4,000 for 13 gigahash. You could be paying $6,000 for 46 gigahash. And this is a mid-range ASIC. This is a mid-range FPGA, because there's the K30s now.
Yeah. Look up one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not on the hash rate yet, but
no, yeah.
But they're there, because remember Crypto? He was looking at one.
Yeah.
Would you agree with me, New England, that the K10 is probably
it just
one
depends.
of the most?
Yeah, it really depends on what you're looking to do. Like, if you want to be able to mine, but also be able to do AI, or do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And if you're, and like I said, 45 gigahash is not mid-level, it's top. Look at okay, but you're comparing a FPGA ASIC to an FPGA card, which is two different realms, right? If you are mining something, you're not going to be using an FPGA card.
Yeah, only for testing algorithms, maybe.
Yusuf, you're not listening. We're saying AI, Hashcat, we're saying a second-party system that pays you for your card, okay? But what we're trying to say is if you're mining a lithium at 13 gigahash, right? You paid, let's just average it out, $4,000 for 13 gigahash. Okay? We just broke it down that you could pay another $2,000 and have 45 gigahash. That's going to be cheaper in power over if you were to buy even more of those 4090s. It's still cheaper to run. Okay, but the C1100 is not any of those cards that are an FPGA card, I'm going to call it, they're not worth buying. I think New England would agree with me on it. There's too many.
I don't know much about the ones that are cards.
Like, there's too many FPGA cards out there that, even the Osprey. This is probably a beginner to me, because he's looking at this here, the C1100. You're looking at $2,300 for this FPGA, and you're only getting and you can't even.
It might even.
It doesn't even have the hash rate.
It might not even have a bit stream for it.
Okay, but we're okay. Yusuf, this is not the top FPGA. This is the FPGA that hashrate.no is showing. There is K20s, K30s, there's K30 pluses. There's the new one. How do you pronounce this? You Dutch fool.
Co-engine. Basically.
So, realistically, the low-end FPGAs of today are your K10.
Yeah.
That is pretty much your entry level. What's the cost on a K10? $6,000. And actually, you can go to New England. I don't know what his cost is if you want to reach out personally.
I was going to say, look and see what Coastal has them for.
They're $6,000. I've looked them up because me and Laz looked
they are here? Okay.
before. Yeah. They have them. Because me and Laz have looked at them before.
Yeah.
Right there. And I mean, no, I'm not trying to shill or anything. I do have a code through Coastal Crypto if you are interested in anything from Coastal Crypto, but I would recommend checking with New England Crypto first. But by time if you use my code, it drops it down to about $58.80. And I mean, that is shipped to your door from the US, so they have them in stock usually. You know, Coastals usually holds them. Okay, but the offs rate. Oh, the E300s are expensive. Like they're like $4 or $5 grand, I think.
Are they still?
I don't know. I haven't looked them up because there's just no point. You're better off spending the money and getting a K10.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5100, 5200.
Yeah.
So I mean, go if you're looking to actually mine, get yourself a K10, get yourself a K20.
Yeah, like either go with more
exactly.
efficient
Thank
GPUs.
you, Aussie J. Aussie J just said FPGA cards are only good on a new coin before it goes mainstream.
No. Yeah,
Does the K10 say how loud it is?
The K10 that might show here.
I was just wondering for like at home use. You know what I mean? I just wasn't. That's one thing I wasn't
sure.
They're
probably a little louder, but you could probably switch them out with the Noctua.
Noctua? No.
Yeah, fans.
Yeah.
But use it though. If you're mining on use it. If you're mining with 4090s.
Yeah.
If you're buying 4090s, if you want a GPU mine, buy 3070s or 3080s. Like any miner would tell you that. Why do you think Panda just bought 107 or 108 3070s? He could have went and bought 4090s. Panda has the means of building 4090 rigs, but they don't fit in server cases because they're too big. You know, they're pricey, and you don't get the hash rate to dollar amount that you'll spend on a 3070 or 3080.
Yeah.
Never too slow because he pays for power. Okay, but doesn't matter though. If he's paying for power, you should be getting more efficient cards. Like I don't know how to tell you. Sure you do. Power is free. No, it isn't. Power is not free. I mean, Lazz's bank account can tell you that.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, it doesn't matter if 4090s are on free power or not, but you have to look at it as you're paying a dollar amount. What is that dollar going to get you for hash rate? That's how miners look at GPUs, because their dollar, the more hash rate they can buy for a dollar, the more money they can make. Just give me 1 second.
At 80 decibels, that thing's going to be pretty loud.
I do actually have to head out soon enough.
Okay.
So
wrap it up when he comes back.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dad just called me. I'm wondering about my mother. Okay, but Yusuf though. Doesn't matter about the power though, because you're just proving my point right. If you're on free power, buy a card that you're going to get more hash rate for every dollar that you spend. Like, wouldn't that make sense, New England?
Yeah, man. Everybody looks at it different. This is a very hard thing to say. We have no idea what the resale is going to look like next year on 4090s. You know what I mean?
3070s. Okay, but Yusuf, if you're mining, you don't just got to look at a lithium on your GPUs. You got to look at everything, because there is rumored to be ASICs coming for lithium. There is rumored ASICs for lithium coming.
Yeah. By the way, Power, do we want to wrap up in a bit?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up here in a couple minutes.
Sounds good.
So, I mean, let's say, the average coin right now is Carlson,
Dual mind.
Color even. I mean, you're talking 1.2 gigahash, but I mean, I wouldn't be mining a lithium on a 3070. If I have a 3070, it would probably be mining. I'd probably have that on Color, or I'd have it.
My 3070s are on a lithium.
Yeah,
Okay.
but here's the thing, though, Yusuf, if you're mining, so you have to put 4090s in an open frame, so that limits you to what you have to build with. Okay, but he's not Yusuf. But the reason that people use server cases is because they control the heat better. They're less of noise, and you're able to control the heat way better than you can, and it's easier on the cards because the cards you don't have to maintain as much because it keeps the environment the same. It's not like a GPU being in the open air where on a summer day it might be 30 degrees and then on a winter day it might be 20 degrees. It keeps the case the temp that it's being set at. He said he's gonna do different coins on them, so he'll probably mine, and it all depends on the bull run. I mean, he's probably gonna be mining. He might mine some lithium, but you'll probably see him mine some flux. Probably he'll probably mine some flux, probably some chlor, possibly see him mine some more Meow coin because I know he's into that. When the new Meow Prog comes out, Meow Pow comes out, but I mean, Lazz's question for you.
Yeah, the first deposit, it should take about 20 minutes to 40 minutes, but ours took about a few hours because ours had an error, which was kind of bad. If you think your deposit takes too long, you can try copying the what's it called again?
Transaction.
Transaction thing.
What was the error that you guys had?
I think it was just there were so many people trying to transfer coins and stuff that their servers just got overloaded.
Yeah, they actually were like, "Oh yeah, we expected some people to ask for this error."
Some.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
They specifically us apparently.
But I mean, it happens all the time with new coins, and especially when you're like, there's only 2 exchanges, and I mean, not a lot of people use Trade Ogre because isn't it banned in some countries and stuff? So. Like, there's some places I thought that Trade Ogre you can't use or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That happened with what is it? Was it CoinX?
I don't know.
I think it's Coin. I think CoinX you're not allowed to use in the United States anymore.
Yeah.
Something, yeah.
And I had my HS3 SE.
Oh.
I had all my Saya just going, all my Sia just going. So I have to have like Yeti sign in for me or something because I saw I saw a video where somebody signed in the US and they got banned and then they weren't able to have someone else sign in.
You can't use a VPN because all these sites have trackers for that.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of these. Your text ID, you can put that into the missing a transaction button in like on the top right if you're in your wallet. Like if you clicked on your wallet, you can put that in there. Then it will check the transaction. Like, hey, is this in yet? But otherwise, just contact support. They're kind enough. Just don't curse at them, and they'll be fine. They'll take care of you.
But
just be nice.
All right.
Yeah, just be nice.
See a traveler's travels. But Yusuf, you know, you might not waste a riser on in a power cord on a 3070, but most miners that's still what they're running. A lot of miners don't buy 40 series because of the fact that the cost to buy is not, it doesn't make sense. So that's where I'll leave it. If you have any questions, if you are watching the stream after the fact, please leave a like, comment, make sure you subscribe. Thank you to New England Crypto for coming out to the stream.
Glad I was able to.
His channel is actually, his title is linked on the title. So if you want to click it and subscribe to him, that's, you know, amazing. Thank you, New England Crypto. Post his link. Go subscribe to him and everything like that. And I think me and Laz will see you on the next one. We might go live tomorrow, maybe. See what happens. Tomorrow's a busy day. Red Pandas giveaway and all that. So
I'll try to make something happen with you guys next week.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.